My name is Richard Saunders. I'm the veterinary advisor to the Rabbit Welfare Association and Fund, and I spend a day a week or so answering queries from vets in practice, assisting with veterinary input into campaigns and strategy and so on. The Rabbit Welfare Association and Fund is the largest charity devoted to purely rabbit welfare and helps to campaign for improvements in rabbit conditions, to educate owners and vets, and has its own website with lots of advice and information. Rabbiting On is a quarterly magazine for RWAF members, and it's packed with news, information, advice and features and photos, and carries a lot of information about both the veterinary care of rabbits and their general health, husbandry and welfare. The welfare of domestic pet rabbits in the UK is tragically poor, with a lot of rabbits given insufficient space, incorrect diets and housed singly, whereas there are social species that should be housed together. So we work to kind of try to improve that welfare throughout the UK. I don't think it should be a question of what makes a good pet, but what makes an owner able to care for a particular species, a particular animal. And they need to provide them with food, water, space, companionship, keeping them free from disease and providing the correct healthcare to prevent disease problems occurring, such as vaccination and neutering. Well, rabbits are often thought of as a children's pet, but they are fragile, delicate animals who don't enjoy being picked up and very often find a child quite overpowering and intimidating and scary. So they are much better as a pet for stable, grown adults or older children with a particularly passionate interest in them. If you're looking to have a house rabbit, you should seek advice on rabbit proofing your house before you acquire the rabbit. The RWAF website is a good site to go to for information. We have a downloadable leaflet, Hey, I'm a House Rabbit. But a few simple things you can do include encasing any electrical wires within tubing or plastic piping, making sure that you don't keep your favourite furniture in the rabbit's enclosure, and perhaps avoiding the sort of raffia type furniture, bamboo furniture that you'd have in a conservatory, because that makes a great rabbit food. It's important that fibre is provided in the form of hay or grass, natural foodstuffs for rabbits, rather than providing bark or twigs or trees for them to chew. While they like that, and it provides important environmental enrichment, it provides no dental wear for the rabbit. Some of the other issues that owners don't consider before acquiring a rabbit as a house pet are that they will take a certain amount of clearing up after. Even litter-trained rabbits produce a certain amount of pellets on the carpet, and their hay and their fur will also make a little bit of a mess, so they must be cleared up after carefully. Rabbit allergies are quite common, and allergy to rabbit fur can result in quite severe kind of hay fever signs, which needs to be considered. And there are health worries for the rabbits themselves. Toxic houseplants within easy nibbling reach or electrical cables can be a problem for the rabbit. It's vitally important for rabbits to be able to have access to an enclosure, an outside run with a hutch only forming a small part of that, a shelter within that larger enclosure. If you haven't got the space for a rabbit outside to exhibit its normal behaviour of running, jumping, playing, then a rabbit simply isn't the pet for you. It's vitally important to get your rabbits neutered. Unneutered rabbits can lead to aggression between rabbits, causing severe injuries, unwanted pregnancies and unwanted babies, and disease problems such as uterine cancer. Well, by far the most common health problem in rabbits is dental disease. Rabbits' teeth grow continuously throughout their lifetime, and if they're not kept in check by a steady source of fibre in their diets, then they can become overlong and they can penetrate through the wall of the cheek or into the tongue and cause great pain and death by starvation. Rabbits can suffer from cancer in the same way as humans can, and probably the most common cancer in rabbits is uterine cancer, which is completely preventable by early neutering. Rabbits suffer from two different species of mange mite. One lives on the skin and causes irritation and fur loss, but is not terribly life-threatening. The other species affects the ears and can cause profound pain, deep pain within the ears, and very, very sore skin around the head sometimes. If people have any concerns about the health of their rabbit, they should seek veterinary advice as soon as possible. Rabbits are a prey species who are evolutionarily designed to hide any signs of disease until the last possible moment to avoid becoming food for a predator. So even a rabbit who seems to be just a little bit off their food could be hiding and masking something more serious. So seek veterinary advice as soon as possible. Well, I think the main thing is that when people take on a rabbit, they don't realise the depth of commitment that they have to put into looking after that rabbit for the rest of its life. And a rabbit can easily cost £9,000 to £11,000 to look after over their lifetime. And it's not just the money. Rabbits have to be fed properly, they have to be given enough space to move around and exhibit normal social behaviour, and rabbits should be never be taken on as a single pet. You should always look at keeping a pair of rabbits at the very least. Well, if somebody's having a problem looking after a pet, in the first instance they should really seek advice from a vet or the RWAF to find out if there's something simple, relatively simple, that they could do to help them look after that animal. If they genuinely haven't got the emotional or financial resources to look after that pet properly, then they should look into rehoming and approach a charity such as Wood Green, the Animals Charity, or the Blue Cross in order to provide a suitable home for that animal.